We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Tarmac Sports.
Hello everybody and welcome to round 4 of the British Drift Championship 2019. We're watching the Pro class today, the High Roller, live at the NEC Arena. This event has been sold out despite the weather, so thank you for everybody for attending today with your umbrellas and your ponchos in tow, I'm sure. I'm joined today by my friend Ian Waddington in the tower, and I'll be Sarah Hall. You'll be listening to us for the day. The Pro drivers have been looking really hot in practice this morning. We've been chatting with our judge Ryan Posicari, and he commented earlier that we are expecting to see some very close action today. The weather is certainly putting a little twist on things. The driving in the Pro-Am yesterday was absolutely epic, and 4 of those drivers are now out in the Pros today, so this is going to be unbelievable action. I know fine well from seeing yesterday. If anybody's seen the live stream, you will agree with me. We are going to take a little look in just a minute at the start list and see what drivers you are going to be seeing out on track. Ian, did you enjoy yourself yesterday?
I certainly did, Sarah. Yeah, very good day in competition for our Pro-Am drivers, and look, this custom-built circuit isn't easy to drive. We made it as difficult as possible. We lined it with concrete walls. It's very challenging, and what we see yesterday from our Pro-Am drivers was simply breathtaking. They put on a real good show. The top 4 drivers, as you mentioned, deserve to be in the Pro class today. As you can see, kicking off the action will be Willie Hanna, Charlie Hume, and then we move it along to Matt Fountain and Josh King, and then it rolls into some of the guys that haven't seen Pro competition yet this season. Sultan Al Qasimi, you can see him in there. Tom Murphy, Dave Egan, he's back in that. He's back to the BDC for round 4, but Not in the Nissan 180 SX that he bought last time. This time he's in his Mustang RTR. That car is a serious bit of kit. But talking of cars, Sultan Al Qasimi's crushed carbon fibre Aston Martin drift car, Sarah. One of your personal favourites.
It's absolutely stunning. If you get a chance, it's an open pit, isn't it? So everybody can go and have a look at the cars, they can have a nosy round. If you get to see Sultan's car, wow, it's crushed carbon fibre, and till you get up to it, you just think, it must just be panels. No, get up close and have a look around. It's a really nice guy, he'll chat to you about it if he's there as well. Awesome car.
Exactly, it certainly is. And talking about awesome cars, we can see Phil Morrison on the grid this weekend, bringing that Toyota Corolla AE86 V8 under the bonnet, live axle in the rear. That thing is an absolute work of art and serious, looking very, very good in practice today. We move it down the order, you can see Hayden Quickshank in that Ricky Bobby liveried Nissan Laurel. Keep going down, we've got Scott Cartledge, our 2017 Pro-Am champion, mixing it up there with the pros. Oliver Bolton looking very, very good today, looked absolutely clinical all day in practice. Hugh Saville making his way up into the Pro Class this season, Sarah.
Absolutely. I mean, with Stefan Stefanov's down there as well. He flew in the wet at Teesside at round 3.
So is that a sign, that we've been graced with wet weather all year so far.
Yeah.
And look, these guys, they're adapting their driving skills to it, as you can see. Still leading the championship. Out front is Aramis Vasquez. And look, I'm going to say it now, I'm going to put it out there on the line. I don't think Aramis Vasquez is looking as good as what he has been all season at this circuit. And there's a few guys that have jumped into the mix. Alan Hines making his way over from Ireland from the Drift Games Extreme Championship. To mix it up in the Pro Class this weekend, he's looking unstoppable. And also his Pro Drift teammate, Martin Winnicott, or Winnicott as he's now been adaptly renamed, he's flying too. So look, I think this weekend has created something that we wanted, and it was a mix up in the championship. For me, I always talk about creating a story and not having a championship done and dusted at the halfway point. And certainly yesterday we see that happen with our championship get completely flipped on its head.
Absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of action yesterday that was completely unexpected. We said a few times we can't predict what is about to happen on the track. You sort of think, yeah, this will happen, he'll win. No, it does not happen, does it? This track is super tricky. It's super challenging. Shall we have a little look at the track map as well and show these guys what they're going to be facing?
Indeed, Sarah. Yeah, let's take a look at our virtual track map. There's a bird's eye view. As you can see, their cars all coming down into that clipping point 1. Nice and wide line through the centre of the circuit into outer zone 2. So they want to be nice and wide on that white line where the clipping point is. Off, nice transition, close to the wall, but not on the wall for outer zone 3. Back on power, that is a D-cell zone, but back on power, out to outer zone 4. All the way around, following that nice wide line out to 5, and then now this is the transition that was getting a lot of guys caught up yesterday into outer zone 6. Now one last ditch dive to the wall for outer zone 7. This is where it could all be won or lost, as it was yesterday for Cole Farrar. Clipping point 8, right on the end of the wall there. A little tag of the wall there can put you on an opposite drift across the finishing line. And yesterday we see Cole Farrar knock himself out of competition, when he had it in the bag.
He really did. I mean, it was an almost perfect run, wasn't it, until that last point, and he just clipped the wall, sent himself the opposite way, which is obviously not what the judges are looking for.
No, they're certainly not. And our judges this weekend, head judge Brad McQueen, he'll be followed up by Ben Manuel and Ryan Pothecary back in the hot seat for the rest of the 2019 season. As you can see, completely concrete wall aligned circuit ready to go, but again we start the day off with wet weather, and as we see yesterday, it dried out. It made it very, very tricky, and it completely changed things for a lot of drivers. You can see massive thank you to all you guys, as Sarah said, for coming out and supporting UK drifting and standing in the weather 3 deep at the fence. That's determination.
It certainly is, and the grandstand sold out as well, so those guys are lucky because they're a little bit drier. But brilliant seats. I've been up there. Yeah,
look, there's not a bad seat in the house anywhere, if I'm brutally honest with you. I mean, I'm going to say we have got the best seat in the house.
We have. I mean, we are sheltering from the rain slightly. We're actually watching from a monitor, if you guys haven't seen, us two up here, but we actually can't see clipping point 8.
No, we can't see clipping point 8.
That's the only bit we can't see.
That's the only point we can't see.
Only because we're hiding from the rain.
I'm tucked up in the corner, trying to keep warm. We're trying to stay out of that wet weather, and it's going to be a long day.
It's going to be worth it.
But it's going to be a very, very good day. And as you can see, all our track marshals making their way to their marshal points. We can see Adam Simmons making his way out and towards the start line. I'm looking at my start line marshal, my track marshal, Toby, to see when we are almost ready to kick this off. He'll give me the thumbs up to tell me that the first driver's on the line. That first driver of the day will be Charlie Humes, a Drift Cup driver, making his way all the way through and gaining his Pro-Am licence.
In 2 events, he has gone from, hey, I'm just going to get a drift car, see what happens, to racing with the pros. I mean, what is that?
What is
Guy's
that?
got some driving talent, hasn't
Certainly
he?
has.
Unbelievable.
Look, we spoke about consistency yesterday and what it takes to get to the podium or do well at an event, and consistency was a big part of that. And for me, Charlie Hume had it bagged. He was pinpoint perfect every single run, and I think look, the rains fell today again, and Charlie Hume's thinking that I could score well in qualifying here and potentially get inside that top 24. Only 24 drivers out of our 45 driver list today make it through this competition, and Charlie Hume's thinking I could potentially be in that top 24 in the pro class in just my first BDC event.
It's quite unbelievable, really. You couldn't write his story for him, could you? He's must have achieved above and beyond what you ever expected. But if anyone was here watching yesterday on the live stream, you'll have seen his talent. He's brilliant, isn't he?
Oh, he's incredible, absolutely incredible, and such a nice guy. Didn't think he was going to drive because he said he didn't have many tyres left after yesterday, so when it started to dry out. But nevertheless, I do believe he is going to make his way down the start line and kick things off for us here. So yeah, look, it's all right, us, describing what we're after. We're after a show. We're after this, and these guys put their car on the wall. But I think the best thing for us to do is just quickly jump over to our head judge, Brad, and just ask him what exactly he's looking for that perfect 100-point qualifying run.
Okay, for that 100-point qualifying run, really we're looking for commitment after clip 1 to run an outside line all the way to clip 2. We've put out 3 cones on the lemon slice shape you can see down there. That signifies that if a driver hits that cone, they're therefore 3 wheels offline, which will result to a 0. So we've put them out for that reason. We're looking for speed, commitment, proximity to the walls, and overall flair to qualify high. So I'm looking forward to this, and I think you guys are in for a real good show.
Thanks, Brad. So there you go. Yeah, look, the boomerang, as I named it yesterday, because that's what it looked like from the track map. It's got 3 cones in it. We see that yesterday, and a lot of guys are taking it off track and hitting those. So if a driver today hits one of those cones in the boomerang or in the lemon slice, then that is wheels off track, and that will be scored a 0. So look, it's all to play for, and a lot of drivers saying that the initiation is very, very slippery, but as the guys come through the middle of the track and they transition into outer zone 3 onto that wall down there, where the runoff area is, it's actually really grippy. So the track changes massively. I'm getting the thumbs up, and it does, Sarah, look like we are ready to kick off our pro action here at round 4 of the British Drift Championship in Birmingham at the NEC 2019, and it will be our Drift Cup driver, now our Pro-Am driver, Charlie Hume, off the line, that Kenda Tyres Nissan 206 S13. Sarah, he did great things yesterday. Can he do any better? Can he top himself off and get himself a spot in top 24? Pro action here. He's looking nice so far, nice on that wide line, nice and deep into outer zone 2. He's going to transition back now towards the wall. Look at that, it just shallows up the angle. Very, very technical driver. You can see him point that car all the way to the wall for outer zone 3. Stays in it, nice line as he gets into 4 and 5. He's going to transition very deep now into outer zone 6 and then back on the wall once again. You see him just dabbing a little bit of left foot brake there to keep that car absolutely balanced as he goes across the line. A very good run, Sarah.
That's actually getting an applaud from the judges as well, because it's obviously impressing them. He drove like that yesterday, every single run, and so he well deserves to be here this morning. Hopefully he can keep that up all day. He's had some good practice yesterday in the wet as well, so hopefully that stood him in good standing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we will wait to get the score for Charlie Hume. And here it is, pops up on the screen, and looking good so far for Charlie Hume, and a 67 on his first qualifying run sees him obviously into first place at qualifying. We get the thumbs up. The next driver on the line will be Willie Hanna. Willie Hanna jumped onto the podium yesterday in 3rd place. And Willie Hanna in that Nissan Skyline R33 representing Tarmac Sports. It's nice and close to the wall, and absolutely flying today in practice, so what can he do? Nice and deep, shallows up the angle as he comes through outer zone 2. He stares down it, not as deep into outer zone 3 as what the judges would have seen. You can see him slow that car down massively. It is a decel zone, so the guys would have expected to see him slow that car down, but you can see the wheel just about catching the edge of that clipping point box. Those boxes painted on the circuit last night by our track marshals to note where they want to see the wheels. And Willie Hanna again just keeps it off the wall there as he absolutely rides the rev limiter across the finish line.
Willie Hanna's absolutely loving life right now, isn't he? He was over the moon with that 3rd place yesterday. I don't think he expected to get it, It came as a bit of a surprise to him, but he certainly deserved it. So he's coming in there with a 76 for his first run.
Yes, a very, very nice run there from Willie Hannah. We move it along to the guy who finished second place on the podium, and that will be Matt Fountain. Matt Fountain in that Walton Motorsport Toyota Sora. Said he was completely unexpected, didn't expect to be on the podium yesterday, but the weather played a big part in that, and I think Matt Fountain got his car dialed absolutely perfect. He looks very, very comfortable. And you can see him on a really good wide line, just the back end of that Toyota Sora into outer zone 2, and you can see him very shallow on 3, slowing the car down massively. He was carrying a lot of speed there and almost had to use that run-off area. Yeah, and it's upset his line ever so slightly on the wall there for outer zone 5. Middle of the track transition there for Fountain now as he makes his way back onto the wall once again. You can see a big clutch kick. He's going to sacrifice 8 here as well. You can see him washing that car away from the wall. Nevertheless, it's going to be a run in the bag, and look, in these weather conditions yesterday, we see a lot of zeros, so we can see the same again for our pros.
Yeah, that might well happen. It's just such tricky conditions. They've just got to get a safe running where they can. So Matt Fountain's coming in with a 60.6. That's a good run on the board. And next up we've got Josh King.
Yeah, Josh King, he took the top step on the podium yesterday. He looked back on form, said that the new tyres he's running absolutely transformed the car, and he had as much grip in the wet as he did in the dry. So how about that? So he's going to be absolutely flying. He comes off the line for his first qualifying run in the Pro class. That's Josh King in the M50 Turbo BMW E36. Very wide there. These Pro-Am drivers have got this line absolutely dialed now, especially his top 4, but almost looked like a big lock up there for King as he gets into outer zone 3 to be nice and deep into 4, but just kind of held back a little bit and let the car wash into the wall. And the transition now back into the middle of the circuit into outer zone 6. Looks like he's taking his time with this one. He's really thinking about it. It's like a lot of method behind the run from Josh King.
Absolutely. I mean, he knows what's at stake now, doesn't he? You know, this could be a big day for, well, it is a big day for him, isn't it? I mean, he is on cloud 9 after his result yesterday, so he's just out there to get everything he can get today.
Exactly that. So score drops in for Josh King. Just waiting for our judges to confirm their scores, and there we go, scores dropping in, and a 60 there for Josh King. So that is it, that is the last of our Pro-Am drivers that made it through to our Pro class today, and now we kick off our Pro drivers, and first up on the line will be none other than this man, Sultan Al Qasimi, all the way from the UAE in this completely insane crushed carbon twin turbo LS Aston Martin drift car, just clipping the cone there on that chicane, but that car's so wide. You can see Sultan, well, he comes from a place where there is no rain, so he said to me, I struggle in the wet weather, but I'll do everything I can to make it round and put on a show for you guys. And Sultan, you can see, very tentative. He's on the middle of the circuit there. And Sultan just keeping that car away from the walls at the moment. Gets back onto the walls once again. Yeah, look at that. And again, once again, keeps that car away from the wall. And you can see the 2 side pipe exhausts there just blowing the rain up in the air.
Just said him out again, it might dry the track out a little bit with those exhausts. It was not too bad, but I think he was a little bit hesitant on that one, but I would be if I had that car, to be fair.
Yeah, of course, yeah, look, I wouldn't want to be putting it on along a concrete wall. 38 there for Sultan on his first qualifying run. We'll move it along to Ross Barr up next. Ross Barr in this insanely built Nissan PS13, built by the guys at Quinn's M Sport in Ireland. And this car, well, if you don't like loud cars, kind of put your fingers in your ears, because right now this car is very loud. As Ross Barr put on a lot of angle there on that first line and completely sacrificed outer zone 2. He's going to once again dial that angle on, try and get into outer zone 5. He just about does and tags the bumper along the wall. But he's going to sacrifice the line on 6, and that's a transition a little bit too late. Nevertheless, Ross Barr gets it across the line, and not the best we've seen from Barr. He put some really good practice runs in earlier.
Yeah, I think the pressure just builds, doesn't it? As soon as you get out and you know that it's counting now, the pressure starts to get to you a little bit, so you get a little bit more hesitant. See what the judges think of that one. We're getting some scores in. That's 56 for Ross in his first run.
Yes, so 56 there for Ross Barr, and we keep going. We can move on to the next guy, Tom Murphy. Tom Murphy driving the Mega Spec PS13, another Irish driver. Making the journey over this weekend and representing Team Skid Risk.
We see a lot of amazing driving skills from Ireland, don't we? There's a lot of brilliant drivers. They seem to have quite a lot of flair.
Look, it's just you can't take it away from the Irish at the moment because they're dominating everywhere they go. And well, could it be an Irish podium this weekend? Well, these guys are going to have to qualify first. And look at that mega spec onto the wall goes Tom Murphy. He gets out to that wide line. As Tom Murphy now navigates his way down into out zone 3, very shallow angle there, does take the cone down, but yeah, straightens up massively. I think he thought he was going to tag the wall maybe and push himself on ever so slightly. Look, these Irish drivers are used to running the walls. The circuits out in Ireland are predominantly all this style track, so they know that what the walls can do and what effect they have when you hit them. Tom Murphy there thought maybe he was going to hit it and straightened up ever so slightly. Throws in a 360 there, just for the fun.
Just a little donut for the crowd, why not?
Just for the crowd, yeah. Professional stuntman, I think it says on his commentary notes.
Does it? Is that joking or is it really?
That's a joke, yeah. So, wait for the score to drop in for Tom. Yeah, even on his email address is Showman.
Tom Murphy Showman, yeah.
So unfortunately no score there for Tom Murphy. We'll find out what that is. We will revisit that one. So you want to see a replay of the run. As you can see here, Tom Murphy gets into the outer zone and then maybe a misshift issue potentially. I know that this isn't a car that Tom Murphy's been too familiar with driving, so maybe something different in that car that it's taken a while to adapt to.
Yeah, you can see him just sort of have a little bit of a wobble into, well, just coming out of 3 really. So that could be mischief then.
Yeah, look, I think for me personally, if it was me, it seems like a mischief because you're going into a slowing area. That's the decel zone, so he's going to have transitioned into 3, down geared the car to because he's going to have to get it back on power nice and early. A 47 there for Tom Murphy. And he's going to have to get on power to ride that outside wall, and I think that could potentially be a mischief. We move it along to now this guy. This car, I see this car a few weeks ago at Teesside Autodrome doing some testing, and never ever seen it before. And I thought to myself, where has he come from?
He's just popped up out of nowhere.
Just popped up out of nowhere on the line at Donatus in this mad M3. Very, very similar build to that of Jamie Stevens, which is the ex-Aramis Vascalis car. And we can see Donatus just warming up the tyres on the back end of that turbo V8 BMW E30. And in the dry, let me tell you something, this car makes a lot of smoke.
It's a shame it's not dry today. I'd
It's
like
a
to see
shame
that.
it's not dry. Yeah, exactly. That comes off the line though, does Donatus now. What can he do? His first ever qualifying run here at the BDC. Throws that car in very, very wide. He's going to completely fulfill outer zone 2. Looking good so far from Donatus. So now gets into outer zone 3. And yeah, just a little stall up there as he come out of outer zone 3. Once again, I think guys just adapting to the grip level down there. Sacrifice the line on outer zone 4. Let's get it back on that qualifying line now, and he looks for the wall one more time. Donatus sticks it to that wide line, and tags the bumper along the wall as he finishes up the run. Very nice stuff there from Donatus. So we wait for the scores to drop in for Donatus. Good so far for his first qualifying run. Looks like he could have bagged himself a spot in top 24. There's all important places. A 61 there for Donatus on his first qualifying. Look at that punch in the window. This man, one to keep an eye on. Alan Hines sits on the line. And this guy, well, if you have never heard of him before, he's an online drifter as well as in the real world. And this guy really knows what he's doing. Pro Drift Academy sponsored. 2JZ S14. And a very good line. Look at the speed that he's carrying there. Using a lot of handbrake though into outer zone 3. Judges going to be looking at that one. He's going to get nice and close to the wall as Hines. You see him left foot braking deep into outer zone 5 now as Alan Hines transitions into the middle of the circuit. And again, deep into 6 he's going to go. This is looking good for Alan Hines right now as he gets back onto the wall one more time and completely runs the wall. Birmingham makes some noise for Alan Hines. Making the journey all the way over from County Cork, I do believe. And Alan Hines, look, he's up there, he's contending for the Drift Games Extreme Championship at the moment, and with runs like that, Sarah,
you can see why.
You can see why.
So we're just getting some scores dropping in, and the judges are obviously very pleased with that.
Look at that, an 88 for Alan Hines' first qualifying run. I we move it along to the next driver on the line, and that will be Richard Grinrod. Richard Grinrod making his return back to the British Drift Championship after taking some time out. In this, his girlfriend's car. This is actually his girlfriend's car. He built for her, Fibre Factory and Driftworks sponsored. LS3 under the bonnet, V8. And Richard Grimrod says he's struggling to adapt to this car, but nevertheless he's going to come out and have some fun and see what he can do here at a very, very wet Birmingham NEC. And he's super wide, he's way off that qualifying line. As you can see there, that entry, Sarah, what was talking about, just very, very wet, very slippery, completely different to most of the rest of the circuit.
Yeah, you can see the surfaces are different. You see the darker tarmac and the lighter tarmac if you're looking from up above here. So you can see that the surface changes quite a lot. So we'll just wait to get a confirmation, but if that was all four wheels off, which it certainly looks like it was, that should be, unfortunately, a 0 on that run. Yes, and it's just confirmed it is a 0. So his run 2 is going to be basically all to play for.
Yeah, it certainly is. And look, up next is the man that everyone has watched for many, many years, sitting on the line, Phil Morrison, the man behind Driftworks in that crazy Toyota AE86. Comes off the line, V8 live axle, 18-inch wheels and tyres on a tiny little car like this, full custom built car. And Phil Morrison not scared to throw this car around as he puts foot to floor and absolutely flies through the centre of the circuit. Now this is fast as Morrison completely fulfills that outer zone 3. He's going to get nice and deep into the wall here. Oh, look at that, had to dial off a little bit of angle before he made contact with it. This is absolutely flying right now from Phil Morrison. He gets to outer zone 6, transitions back once again onto the wall, and Morrison puts the car on the wall and across the line. Birmingham make some noise. Wow.
That was unbelievable. I don't know if I've seen him drive before. I'd have remembered that, surely. I would have remembered him.
You would have remembered that car for sure.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Insane stuff there from the Driftworks boss, Phil Morrison. So we await the score to drop in. You know, I think they could contend for top spot. I think they could contend Alan Hines.
Got to be.
Oh, well, look at this. Big scores dropping in. And where does Phil Morrison land on his first qualifying run of the day? It will be an 89 for Phil Morrison, and he tops qualifying at the moment. But these guys not messing around this weekend, Sarah. We keep the action going on the line. Next will be Lewis Mitchell. Big impact with the wall at Teesside. I wasn't there to witness it, but you see it firsthand. This guy tore this car apart, right?
Absolutely. I can't believe that's the same car and it's back. It looks immaculate. Yeah, bit of a shunt there at Teesside, so hopefully we won't see that again today.
No, hopefully not, as we see Lewis Mitchell off the line in this Boss kitted S14. 1JZ under the bonnet. Looking very confident at the moment is Lewis Mitchell. He makes his way down his outer zone 3. You can see him on power nice and early and just balancing that car. You can see the grip in the car there. The guys have to really work, big clutch kicks to get the rear wheel spinning again. It just goes to show you how different it is down at that bottom corner to what it is up on the initiation. Lewis Mitchell gets back into the wall and takes it across the line. He'll be happy with that one.
He certainly will do. It is really hard when you've got a car that just wants to grip, and obviously he's trying to break that traction. So it must be quite tricky at the bottom there, like sort of into cut 3.
Yeah, it certainly is. And look at that, 65 for Lewis Mitchell, puts him into 5th position at the moment. And yeah, look, these cars very dialed, a lot of grip in. And Josh King, we mentioned earlier, saying that he had the same amount of grip in the wet as he did in the dry. Insane stuff. Off the line, the tallest guy on the grid, it will be Leonard Keppert in this IROC performance. HGK built E46 BMW S54 Turbo under the bonnet, very deep into the outer zone. Leonard Keppert took some time out of UK drifting and said he wants to come back. He's dialed on a lot of angle there. Can he hold it? He's going to sacrifice 4 as he now makes his way out to outer zone 5. Oh, but he's big contact with the wall. Big contact with the wall there for Leonard Keppert, and he puts himself up. And look at that rear wheel, completely destroyed that rear wheel into that concrete barrier. And Sarah, that is not how he wanted that run to go.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is a similar thing to, what we saw at Teesside with the walls. When the weather's wet, like we've just been talking about, obviously it's super slippy, but then you get down into that zone there, sort of 3, 4, 5, and it changes completely. So they're fighting with grip, but they're also fighting with the wet as well as different patches. He's kind of got too close to the wall. If you clip the wall, look at the lock on his steering, it flings you in the opposite direction basically.
I'll tell you where it all went wrong for Leonard Keppert. I'll tell you where it all went wrong for Leonard Kepper. As he transitioned through the middle of the circuit, he got nice and deep into outer zone 2. As he transitioned into outer zone 3, he put a lot of lock on the car, dialed in a lot of steering angle. And the problem was that sacrificed the line. So Leonard Kepper didn't manage to fulfill outer zone 4. So that kind of put him, if you can imagine, if you drew a straight line from 4 to 5, it put him on a straight line. So as he reached the wall at outer zone 5, where normally you would be running the radius, he actually hit the wall at clipping point 5. So instead of getting into it and driving away from it, he hit it dead on. And as you were right, he's got the wheels turned the opposite, the right way for drifting, and it just completely turned the car around. Look at that rear wheel destroyed, and you can see broken some suspension components as he's moved that wheel forward quite a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is awful to see, isn't it? You can see how much effort these guys put into the cars, and one run can end up, this.
Yeah, one run and it could be all over. And Leonard Kepper sits patiently waiting in his car. Our track marshal's down there, just making sure that we can actually move that car without too many problems.
Yeah, that's it. We want to get him off the track and into the pits as soon as possible. Hopefully, it's something that him and his team can get back out and hopefully put a scoring in his second run if he does get out there. We hope so.
So yeah, Leonard Kepper will be removed from the circuit, and then we will carry on with the action here at round 4. And on the line, I can see the headlights on the Mustang RTR of Dave Egan. He's eagerly awaiting his first qualifying run, but look, he's staring down at this. He's probably watching the live stream on his phone in the car. I know a lot of these guys do. A lot of the drivers, they'll sit in the car and watch the live stream on their phones because they want to know what the track conditions are like. Are they changing? Is there parts of the track that anything's happened? As we see another replay there of Kepper. You can see, look at this, I'll walk you through this one. Nice and deep, gets all the way out to outside zone 2, and then watch this line, puts on a lot of angle to slow the car down, and then watch what happens. Finds himself almost in the middle of the circuit, sacrifices 4, and then look, dials on more angle again. He knows, he's looking out the window, he puts more angle in it again because he's trying to run the radius and not get to the wall. Unfortunately for Kepper, can play off that way. But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of these guys will sit in the car and watch the live stream, and they will all know that Kepper's been in the wall and he's took on some damage, and that's what the hold-up is. And it's a vital tool for our drivers now. This live stream, not only for you guys at home watching who couldn't make it down this weekend, but yeah, for them also, because they'll be seeing the score, so they will all know that Phil Morrison absolutely knocked it out of the park and put an 89 in his first qualifying run. So, and it's probably unexpected. Nobody really expected Phil Morrison to come out and do that. We see him in qualifying, he was in practice, and he was flying, but
still, to see a score that high is going to put the pressure on these guys sat on the line, aren't they? And especially if they're sat there watching the live stream and they know what he's just scored, they're going to be, thinking, right, how am I going to be able to get anywhere near that? How am I going to top that?
Exactly that, yeah. And not only that, we've got a spotters area directly underneath where we are sitting, and those guys will be on the radio saying, look, this is deadly now, and outside zone 3 is quite grippy, but then if you go too far into it, it gets very slippery. If you're on that wrong line, this is what can happen. You dial on too much angle and you find yourself buried in the wall, and it could be the weekend over.
It could be, and we've seen a few issues around there yesterday. It's funny though, I guesstimated on Friday when we were watching practice that going into pit 3 would be one of the most tricky parts of the circuit. And I was right to an extent, but I didn't even take into account the surface change. I just looked at the actual angle that they need to be at to get all the way around. Because it's almost a circle, isn't it? You could complete a circle in that bottom.
Well, it is a perfect circle. We build all our drift circuits or the custom-built circuits on perfect circles. So you can't get them wrong. You've got to be able to drift around a perfect circle, and that bottom corner is a perfect circle. But what makes it tricky is there's a lot of painted sections down there. You can see the yellow hash markings on the ground. This is a surface road and a car park, so this hasn't been designed for drifting. This is what we've come down and built. So yeah, it makes it very difficult, and as you can see, it's off camber, so it carries more speed into outer zone 3. We get the thumbs up, our track is clear, and we are ready to rock and roll. With the next driver on the line, it will be Dave Egan in that Mustang RTR. Vaughan Gittin ex-demo car. And Dave Egan, so he's struggling with gearing this weekend, and you can see that completely sacrificed out of zone 2. He gets nice and deep into 3, and to sacrifice 2 he's going to have to really work hard and make the rest of the run absolutely pinpoint perfect. As Egan gets nice and close to the wall there on 5. A good transition back, nice and wide into 6. You can see him really working that car inside. As he tries to take it to wall, he's going to sacrifice 8 though as he finishes up the run and gets it back across the line, and he'd be happy to just get that first run out of the way and in the bag.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it's a score on the board that will just give him a bit of a guarantee of hopefully making it to the top 24. But yeah, you could hear a little bit of possibly a gear change problem as well down there, which is just throwing him off a little bit.
Yeah, just a gearing issue, and just doesn't have the legs to travel. It's a long distance from 1 to 2, so Guy Sanders struggling massively. A 54 there for Dave Egan on his first qualifying run. When we go back to the start line, next driver on the line will be Ashley Stevens. Ashley Stevens in at this Nissan 200SX. As you can see, the back of that car in tatters, took it to the wall earlier in practice. And Stevens representing Snap-on Tools. Oh, massive error there for Ashley Stevens. You can see the car, a huge amount of understeer, and that's completely upset his line. He's going to have to work very, very hard now to get this back on a good qualifying line. You can see that car fighting him every moment. As you can see, a lot of grip dialed into the back of that car, and that really making it difficult for Stevens to drive. As he now looks to get it up onto the wall again. And Ashley Stevens finishes up the run and takes it across the line, but scrappy at best. So scores drop in there for Ashley Stevens. And it will be a 37, so a 37 there for Ashley Stevens on his first qualifying run. We'll get a score on the board, but yeah, work to be done. We move it along. Ian Phillips now. No drift, no fun. And Ian, the business at Phillips, sits on the line representing Tarmac Sports and Magnuson Superchargers. Chevrolet V8 under the bonnet of this Nissan 350Z. Ian Phillips not doing a bad job, struggled in practice, but he's put a lot of angle on. He completely sacrificed out of zone 3, and he's put himself in the middle of the circuit onto that teardrop. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that that's a 0, personally, because those hash marking areas that we have painted down that teardrop, you're driving on that's technically off circuit. So for me personally, Sarah, I think that's a 0.
Yeah, I think it might well be. We'll have to see what the judges think, if they think the same as we did. But yeah, he completely sacrificed 3, went in with too much angle, and basically that's put him right into the middle. And yeah, it's officially a 0, unfortunately, for Biz.
Yeah, so it was 0 there for Ian Phillips. And I know he struggled in practice, had a lot of understeer issues. We move it along. Alistair Sutton now sits on the line, former Drift Cup champion. And second place finisher in that Pro-Am class in 2018. Alistair Sutton. BMW V8 powered Nissan 200SX. And this guy definitely one to keep an eye on. Struggles with a little bit of a lack of power, but Alistair Sutton is very, very technical driver. Likes to get the line absolutely dialed, but again, you can see that car just not having the legs to make it all the way out to outer zone 2, and gets himself off that qualifying line. As Alistair Sutton now looks out the side window, out the wall, and now looks at the transition back into the middle of the circuit, nice and deep into outer zone 6. He's going to transition back onto the wall once again, and Alistair Sutton very, very close, and a good job finishing up the run, but scrappy parts in the middle. So there we go, scores dropping in for Alistair Sutton from our judges. Being a bit slack today, taking their time.
It's Sunday.
It is
They're
Sunday.
they're chillaxed, aren't they?
They're chillaxing, yep. So there we go, a 59 for Alistair Sutton on his first qualifying run of the day, and drops him into 9th place. Up next, Hayden Cruikshank in the Ricky Bobbery liveried. Well, I couldn't even get my words out there.
Ricky Bobbery.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby liveried Nissan Laurel. You can see Fig Newton's on the windscreen. Well, can he make it round in the rain? Hayden Cruikshank. This guy spends a lot of time over in Ibisu in Japan. There's a couple of cars out there, often flies over with his friends and gets a lot of seat time driving the custom courses out there in Japan. So this guy, a whole lot of seat time under his belt, and Hayden Cruikshank gets nice and deep into the wall on that final outer zone. Just sacrificing 8 though, just washed away from 8 after he come out of 7. Nevertheless, it is a run on the board, and we've seen Hayden Cruikshank take that car all the way to a top 4 before.
Yeah, he's a very impressive driver. I think I was a little bit hesitant there, but let's see what he does in his second run. Now he's sort of scoped out the track, he found the grip levels and seen what's out there. He knows what to expect now.
Yeah, he certainly does. So Hayden Cruikshank's score, we await that to drop in. Just remember, only 24 of our drivers in our qualifying session will make it through, and then we will have our 24-place shootout. That'll give us our top 16, and then 16, well, we head in there at 53 there for Hayden Cruikshank on his first qualifying score. Move it along to this guy. Ollie Elmore sits on the line representing Hell Performance, and Hell Performance in the house this weekend. Ollie Elmore having some fun this morning, knocking all the cones over, but this is a wild initiation, and yeah, and it's a spin. Just tried to put too much into the initiation and too much angle, and it's completely sacrificed the line. As you can see, our judges just playing with their new function, a little spin button they got there.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
And yeah, for me, yeah, well, Ollie Elmore, it just, they were told in the briefing that you can't put on a big angle initiation. You have to, you know, dial on some a medium amount of angle to allow you to get to the line. It's such a long pull. We'll make it official. Is a 0 for Elmore, and yeah, Elmore tried to go all out, but it didn't play out for him. On the line, Julie Robinson, one of our only female pro drivers. She fist bumps our start line Marshall Melks. Now this young lady has been driving this car since day one in 2008, the first ever event in the BDC. Still got the same car, and she knows it inside and out, as Julie Robinson would have been praying for this rain earlier on this week. And Robinson gets nice and wide, but sacrifices two. She's going to get it out to 3. Oh, and an error. An error for Robinson. Oh, wow, what happened there? Just looked like she couldn't stop. That was a very, very strange one. That was probably the slowest crash I've ever seen.
Hopefully it's just the bumper. I think it is. Yes, she's just locked the front bumper.
I think maybe she locked up the front brakes and the car just wouldn't slow down. As you can see, Robinson.
Yeah, that's it. They're carrying a lot of momentum, aren't they? Even though they do slow down its deceleration zone, but they're still carrying a fair bit of momentum. And in the wet, if you start to brake or anything like that, you know, you're just gonna slide.
Yeah, so a very angry Julie Robinson makes her way back down to the start line. And as I predicted, Sarah, a whole host of zeros are filling up our score sheets here. We're going to make that one official as well, as it drops in yet a 0, unfortunately, for Julie Robinson. And really, really not sure what happened there as she gets out of zone 3. Move it along. The next guy on the line will be Oliver Silcock, representing GBH Motorsport in this really, really nicely prepared PS13. You see, it looks like just a cool street car. Looks too good to be thrown at concrete walls.
You almost don't expect it from him when he just starts throwing it around and think, yeah, he just goes for it.
He certainly does, and looking good so far as Oliver Silcock. Didn't get as deep into outer 2 as what we needed, but you know what, right now, a score on the board is going to get you a place in top 24, because there's been a lot of zeros and a lot of these guys not making it out to qualifying. So for me, if you get a score on the board, even as low, you know, as a 30, you're going to be potentially making your way inside top 24. So Silcock finishes up the run. He will get a score from our judges. So there we go, scores are dropping in, and it will be a 49, so a 49 for Oliver Silcock. We go back to the start line. So this guy, Funk Motorsport's very, very own Oliver Bolton. And a cool, calm, collected Oliver Bolton gives a thumbs up to the start line camera. This guy was looking absolutely perfect in practice earlier. Well, sometimes he falls apart in qualifying. Can he hold it together? Nice opposite flick from Bolton. He's not messing around. And this one, Sarah, is nice and deep. Look at outer zone. He's on a very wide line. Dialed a little bit too much angle and sacrificed outer zone 2. But again, all he really needs to do is put a good run in, because so many zeros on the board. A score right now will potentially get you a spot inside top 24. Bolton transitions out into outer zone 6, left foot braking through the middle of the track. Gets nice and close to the wall once again. Absolutely right in the rev limit as he gets it nice and close to the wall. And a very good run there from Oliver Bolton. Very
good run, yeah. He was a little bit shallow kind of going through too, but the rest of it was pretty impressive in the wet. So hopefully that's a good safe score for him, getting him into the top 24. Let's see if the judges agree.
So there we go, scores start dropping in. Not as high as what we assumed, but yeah, maybe that loss of outer zone 2 hurt his score massively. Of 57 for Oliver Bolton. And we get the thumbs up and we're ready to move it along to this guy on the line, Hugh Saville, in this crazy, crazy, crazy Toyota Corolla AE86. Another mental build, a turbo V8 under the bonnet of this car, and Hugh Saville, Pro-Am driver at the beginning of the season, decided to take the step up to the Pro class after having an incredible round at Driftland. And a very tentative entry there for Hugh Saville. Oh, and he's very wide. He manages to hold on to it to Saville, and he gets himself on a very nice line into outer zone 2. Oh wow, and a big opposite drift there, a big opposite drift as he headed towards the wall. You know what, Sarah? I had to almost hold my breath for a second. I thought he was going to put that car on the wall.
Yeah, we straightened up there and I thought he's going to just end up going straight on and into the wall. But fortunately he hasn't, and he's held it together and carried on the best he could to complete the run, but I think the pressure's maybe getting to Hugh a little bit there. So obviously he's not that cone at the beginning as well. Is that going to be classed as wheels off track?
For me, yeah, I mean, look, the cone at the beginning, yeah, it's make it official, it's a 0. It was potentially either the cone or the opposite drift.
Up,
the opposite drift, so.
That's it.
So heartbreaking there for Hugh Saville, all to be done on his second qualifying line. We'll move it back to the line. It is Mike Walton now representing Walton Motorsport. He is the man, the main man, the head honcho at Walton Motorsport, and Walton Motorsport yesterday having a good result, getting second place on the podium. Can they do the same today? Can one of these guys get on the podium here? And look at that, barely any tyres pressure in those rear tyres for Mike Walton as he comes off the line. Very, very aggressive sounding car. A 2JZ S13 now. Mike Walton absolutely flying. Look how deep he is into the outer zone. Incredible stuff already from Mike Walton. Carrying a lot of speed. Oh, it's a big straight line drag there from Mike Walton as he slowed that car down coming into outer zone 3. He's sacrificed the line now. He's in the middle of the circuit for 4 and 5. He's going to have to work hard to get to 6. Is it going to be shallow or does he get there? No, he doesn't get there. It's a very shallow line. Flicks it back onto the wall once again as Mike Walton takes it across the finish line. And we've seen better stuff from him, Sarah.
We have. Even in practice, he's been very, very strong this weekend. So, again, is it the pressure getting to them? Now they know that these scores are going to count. Hopefully he puts in something a little bit better for his second run. But as long as he gets the score on the board and makes it to the top 24, he'll be happy with that.
So there we go.
41.
41.
That could well be enough to just keep him in the top 24.
Yeah, almost. We move it along to Scott Cartledge now in this crazy. This is one of his daily drivers, believe it or not. He takes this car down the shop to get his shopping.
I would, to be fair, if I had that.
Toyota V8 under the bonnet with a huge turbo. And Scott Cartledge, our 2017 Pro-Am champion, representing Birchwood Motor Co. It's nice and deep. Listen to that. Oh, completely off throttle there for Cartledge, and it made him straighten massively in the middle of the circuit. And now he's got some work to be done. Now he's going to have to really work and get his back on his qualifying line. As Cartledge gets nice and deep into 5, finds himself back on that qualifying line. He transitions in the middle of the circuit, puts a big angle on it, sprays water up on to the face of clipping point 6, sticks it to the wall and across the line for Cartledge. Finished up the run very, very well, but just messed up that middle part.
Yeah, the beginning was a little bit scrappy, but hopefully the rest of it's given him some points that he needed to get a decent score on the board. Let's see what the judges think.
Yep, judges are still there, Sarah. They've not
Yep,
fell asleep.
just checking.
Just have a look over your shoulder to see if they've not fallen asleep or fell out of the tower or it's pretty cold. Maybe they're huddled together like penguins.
Yeah, like just group heat.
Exactly that.
62.
Look at that, 62, a 62 for Scott Cartledge. And that potentially could have been a very, very good run. We move it along to the next driver on the line. And this guy we call him the Giant Killer. It is Matt Walker. In his BMW E30. And Matt Walker absolutely flying, but he's very, very wide. Takes some cones down in the middle of the circuit, and that washes him wide. In the middle of the track for outer zone 2. So he's already sacrificing points here as Matt Walker, and he looked good in practice, but maybe the weight of getting back out to do his qualifying run has unnerved him ever so slightly. And the Giant Killer fires that little grey BMW to the wall, and you can see he runs over the cone that he first destroyed on the way in and across the line. That's going to hurt his score going that far off. That could even potentially be a 0 from Matt Walker.
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah, a 0 there for Matt Walker, and unfortunately he has it all to do in his second qualifying run. We're back to the line to the guy that you was bigging up earlier, Stefan Stefanov.
I was. I mean, the rain came down at Teesside, round 3, and we just thought this track is undrivable. The drivers couldn't see for the rain, no matter how, fast they put the windscreen wipers on. He flew round and put in quite an astonishing run.
Yeah, I was told that Stefan Stefanov was literally like a man possessed on the car, apparently, as he put in a storm of a qualifying in Teesside. We'll do the same here with the NEC. Nice initiation there, put quite a lot of angle as Stefanov messes up that transition. You can hear a clutch kick. He's in the centre of the circuit, and Stefanov making a mess of that one, Sarah.
Yeah, not quite as impressive as his run in the wet at Teesside, unfortunately. But maybe he's scoped the track out now and he's got another chance to put some scores in.
Yeah, these guys would have gone back to the start line after they've watched their runs, and they would have watched it back on the live feed stream, and they would have said, look, I know where I went wrong, I know exactly what I've done, I know what I messed up on, and I'll sit and think about that and watch everyone else and see what everyone else is doing and try and adapt my driving style to get a decent score on the board. Stefanov will get a score. Just waiting for the final one to drop in, and there we go, a 41 for Stefan Stefanov. A little bit here as the Latvian makes his way down. Tentative entry though, Christian Berkovs. And this car is really an assault on the senses. The sound that comes out of the exhaust is incredible, but a huge straighten as he gets himself into outer zone 3. He gets nice and deep into 4 as Christian Berkovs looks for the end of the wall. Not a bad job there in at all. Very early transition, but a good line. Always made a big mistake there. Berkovs got off throttle miles too early, and you can see him really trying to work that car to get back on the line, but Berkovs sacrificed a lot of points there at the end of the track.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of my favourite cars, I think. The noise is unreal, isn't it? Everybody loves this one. Let's see what the judges make of that. There was a few errors, unfortunately, for Christian Berkovs. Just waiting for him to drop in. Yeah, it's pretty low.
So there we go, a 25 for Christian Berkovs, and yeah, he's really going to need to work hard here to get himself a spot in that top 25. Move it along to this guy. No, it's not Stephen Fitzgerald, it is in fact Tomas Falvey. Tomas Falvey driving Stephen Fitzgerald's car. Problems with Falvey's own car, so Fitzgerald, fellow Irishman, said take my car and see what you can do. As Flavour Foul, they like to call him, comes off the line in Stephen Fitzgerald's S15, and borrowed car, wet circuit, concrete walls. Tomas Falvey though, no regard, just absolutely flying as he gets into outer zone 2 and makes his way down to 3 and back onto the wall for 4. Not doing a bad job so far for Falvey in a car that he's not familiar with. As he comes through the middle of the circuit there, Falvey now looks for the outer wall on 7 and 8 and finishes up a run. And Tomas Falvey getting a score on the board.
Not bad at all, like you say, considering that car is borrowed, he's not had much seat time in that at all.
No, not too shabby there for Falvey. Look, it's not too far away from what he already knows. A 46 on his first qualifying run. He drives an S15, which is with the same power plant. I do believe it's a RB25. And that one we move along. Adam Simmons now sits on the line in his DKM sponsored BMW Z3 LS3 under the bonnet. And Adam Simmons there found himself on the podium at Teesside, but not looking too clever this weekend. Very deep on the boomerang there, but gets himself nice into outer zone 2 and 3. And we're looking for the wall now. This little BMW Z4, sorry. He's almost touching the wall himself because it's that short.
Yeah, in the driving position in those, you're sat right almost at the back of the car, aren't you? It's a little roadster, so I can imagine him looking out the window and thinking that wall is pretty close. Very,
very close, yeah. Simmons takes it across the line, and Adam Simmons actually said to me before that it took him quite a while to adapt his driving style, because the length of the where you sit in the car, the back is very, very short, but the front is very, very long, so it took him a while to get used to it, and Adam Simmons, we wait his score to drop in.
Yeah, that's right, you sat very far back. I used to actually do a little bit of, not drifting really, like stunt driving in Z3, the older one, and you are sat really far back and it kind of throws you off a little bit. strange position to be
Strange
in.
position.
Yeah.
Yeah. So scores drop in. It will be a 64 for Adam Simmons' first qualifying run, and yeah, he'll be happy with that one. We'll move it along. Oliver Evans now sits on the line. The VP Racing Fuels sponsored driver. DY Engines, 2JZ under the bonnet, and happy birthday to his dad, Old Spice, who's in the crowd. It was his birthday yesterday. And Old Spice, well, I spoke to Oliver in the week and he said, I'm going to be doing it for my dad this weekend. Can I get on the podium for Dad's birthday? Well, we are going to see as Evans fires his car into outer zone 3. Not bad so far. Evans gets nice and deep into outer zone 4 and 5. And Evans looking for a turn of fortune, hasn't been back on the podium since that time he dominated at Rockingham. And Oliver Evans gets nice and close to the wall once again, but sacrifices 8 as he finishes up the run.
So we can just hear the judges having a little discussion about a few elements of that run to put their scores on the board for him.
So score drops in for Oliver Evans. Where will he land up? Well, it's a 59 for Oliver Evans, and not a bad job. Drops him into 12th position at the moment, and we now get into the top 3 of the championship, the business end of the deal. Up first it will be Martin Wanacott. I mentioned this guy earlier. I said he's absolutely flying. The Pro Drift Academy sponsored Draper Tools. So the chaser comes off the line, 1.5 JZ under the bonnet, and look at the back of this car, already in tatters, but look at the angle. It's gone too wide, it's gone way too wide, and he shuts it down. And you know what, it was the angle again, once again, someone trying to throw in a big initiation, and it just doesn't pay off, Sarah.
No, the first, after the initiation and you know, clip 1, that zone that you called the boomerang yesterday, it really is, it's a bit of a tricky one that does seem to keep catching people out. It's not, it wouldn't make a perfect circle like the other end of the track would. It is a bit of a boomerang shape, so I think it's tricky to negotiate, isn't it? You don't want to put too much angle on, because then you're not going to come all the way around. You're just going to be you're going to fly too wide because you're trying to overcorrect it, or you're going to end up too far, in the middle of the track, which again is not where you want to be.
No, exactly that. And look, we make that one official. It will be a 0 there for Martin Wanacott on his first qualifying run. I think he just tried to put too much angle on the initiation of the wall. He was 90 degrees to the concrete wall, and that just doesn't work. On this circuit, you need to kind of shallow up ever so slightly just to follow the arc all the way through into outer zone 2. We move it back to the line. It will be Ricky and Lawrence top the podium at Teesside just a few weeks ago. He's going to be looking to do it again. Not many points separating him and Vasquez for the championship this year. And Ricky Lawrence, last year Pro-Am driver, he probably didn't assume that this year he'd be in the hunt for a championship here at the BDC. So Ricky Lawrence sits on the line, and we are just waiting to get our track back together. We want it as consistent as possible. We want it to be perfect for every driver. We don't want any changes to it from practice to qualifying. As our marshal makes his way off the edge of the circuit, and we are almost ready to send Ricky Lawrence. We're just going to back him up though, let him warm his tyres again. He's been sitting there, them tyres cooling down, losing grip every second. They're sitting there not moving. So
yeah, it's very important. I think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that drifting, you don't need any grip, because obviously you're sliding around, but actually the grip is just as important as breaking the traction as well.
Massively, yeah, massively, especially when it comes to these concrete walls, and these guys want to get on the throttle and pull themselves away from the concrete wall. Ricky Lawrence comes off the line in his Nissan 1Via. Oh wow, throws big angle at it. Can he pull it off? He's going to go very deep, but yeah, he has to shallow up the angle massively there as he gets into outer zone 2. Ricky Lawrence now dials it in again and carries a lot of speed into outer zone 3. Lawrence hungry for it this weekend as he gets nice and close to the wall. You can see him just big clutch kick there. Dials on the angle for the transition in the middle of the circuit. Ricky Lawrence looking good at the moment. Tags the cone on outer zone 6. Gets it to the wall and takes it across the line. And Ricky Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, makes some noise. So Ricky Lawrence did take out that cone on the boomerang or the lemon slice, but he does get a score. It will be a 43 there for Ricky Lawrence. So work to be done. He sits in 20th position at the moment. And last but by no means least, sits on the line the powerful force driver representing Liftcraft all the way from Lithuania. It is the Lithuanian lunatic himself, Aramis Vaskelis. Aramis Vaskelis off the line this year, piloting this crazy turbo E46 BMW, but he's gone way wide. Wow, he's gone way wide and completely messes it up. It just goes to show you the rain has been falling massively. It's making that initiation and that first wide outer line very, very slippery. Vaskelis is going to finish up the run just to, you know, feel the grip, feel where everything, you know, if there's any other surprises. That initiation absolutely caught him off guard there as Vaskelis finishes up the run. It will be a 0 for Vaskelis' first qualifying run, and look at that, the top 3 drivers, only one of them scoring and earning a spot inside the top 24, Sarah.
I mean, Vaskelis is such a strong driver as well. For that to throw him off just shows what the conditions are like out there.
So there we go, make it official. It will be a 0 for Aramis Vaskelis, and with that one done, that means we go right back to where we started, and that is with our Drift Cup driver, our newly crowned Pro-Am driver from the Drift Cup Championship. It will be Charlie Hume. He sits on a 61 on his first qualifying run, and look, the scores, you go back to the scores and look at what we see from our Pro-Am drivers, and they're very, very high. It just shows you that all that seat time they had yesterday in this weather and the consistency, these guys looking good for a spot in top 24. Charlie Hume sits on the line ready for his first qualifying run. As soon as we get the track again reconstructed, currently sits 4th place in qualifying. He'll be very happy with that, Sarah.
He'll be over the moon with that, he really will. And you can see on his rear wheels there, one of the sections is actually painted pink. If anyone's wondering what that is, what is it, Ian?
I thought you was going to tell me.
I thought you would give a better explanation than I would.
Yeah, so look, wow.
We'll tell these guys in a minute. We'll watch Charlie's run.
Wow, what an initiation from Charlie Hume. Absolutely flying. He's going to be looking at top qualifying right now by the looks of things as he gets nice and deep into outside zone 3, and a nice consistent line, nice and close to the wall, as the Drift Cup driver is absolutely coming out swinging in the Pro class this weekend. He's going to be very deep into 6th. Look at that, almost takes the cone down as Charlie Hume now gets himself back onto the wall one more time. Birmingham makes some noise for Charlie Hume. What a run.
You can see his arm out the window as well there. He knows he's done good.
He knows that was a good run. He knows that was a very, very good run. Charlie Hume, he could be way up there in qualifying now. Already in 4th. What does he do on his second? Big scores coming in. And Charlie Hume drops into 3rd place on his second qualifying run with an 80, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible stuff. We move it along to Willie Hanna on the line. Willie Hanna in a battered and bruised Nissan Skyline R33, but that doesn't matter to him. He ended up on the podium yesterday. What could he do on his second qualifying run? A 76 on his first. And Hanna, another driver who's going to be looking to get way up in the order. Comes absolutely flying, nice and deep into outer zone 2. As he transitions into 3, almost takes it over, a little wobble from the cone there, and again another consistent line from 3 to 4, and look at that, nice and deep into both of those zones. No contact with the wall though from Hanna as he comes flying through the middle of the circuit. Drives that car back on angle again, back onto the wall, and takes it across the line. These Pro-Am drivers absolutely knocking it out of the park today.
And this is exactly why they deserve the place in this pro category today. They did amazingly yesterday, and then just showing exactly what they can do again today, really. And the judges' scores are coming in. Another high score coming onto the board for Willie Hanna.
Yeah, look at this.
Well deserved, an 84.
Wow, an 84 for Willie Hanna, and that drops him into 3rd place. It's getting tight up the top there. We move it along to Matt Fountain now, the Water Motorsport sponsored driver in that Toyota Sora. 2nd place on the podium yesterday. He's going to be looking to join his Pro-Am compadres in that top 4 in qualifying. You see a very tentative line. You can hear him off throttle there massively as Matt Fountain sacrifices out of zone 2. And again, nice fluid line from 3 to 4. Oh, you can see that car grip up massively. Has to put a big clutch kick into it to get that car, get the rear wheel spinning again to get that car up and gone. As Fountain now navigates his way back onto the wall. And Matt Fountain takes it across the line, and a 2nd qualifying run in the bag for the Water Motorsport driver.
This doesn't look like he's going to better his first run, but that's hopefully still a good score to keep him at 51.
Yeah, inside that top 10 at the moment, so yeah, he's looking for, he's safe for top 16 already. We'll move it along to the next guy, and it will be Josh King, the final Pro-Am driver. He took the top step on the podium yesterday. He scored a 60 as well in his first qualifying run, so he's going to be looking to better. He's seen what the rest of his mates have done, and what can he do as he puts a nice angle at it. Josh King, oh, but he's very wide. Oh, he's very, very wide, Sarah, and has to shut it down.
That is such a shame after yesterday's performance, earning in the place that he's got today to qualify in the Pro. However, his first run was decent, so hopefully that is going to be enough to get him up into the top 24.
Yeah, so Josh King makes his way back to the start line. You can see the rest of his Pro-Am teammates leaving the circuit. We need to make that one official for King. There we go, yeah, it will be a 0. Stays where he is, inside that top 10 though, over 60. And we head back to the start line to this incredible, incredible machine. Look at that side pipe steaming with the water off the circuit, and look at that crushed carbon fibre on the Aston Martin, Sarah.
I love it. It's a nice change from carbon fibre, isn't it? Something a little bit different, something a bit special, as is the rest of the car. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it certainly is.
And he's just about to throw it into a wall.
Why not?
Drifter mentality.
That's what it was built for.
It certainly is.
That's what Sultan said to me the other day. He said, it doesn't matter what it is, it was built for one thing and one thing only, and that's drifting, and that's throwing it at the concrete wall and, qualifying high and winning battles. And right about now, Sultan Al Qasimi slots that car into gear, thumbs up to the cameraman, and he is gone. It will be Sultan Al Qasimi for his second qualifying run. It was a 38 on his first. What can he do on this one? He would have been told by the spotter on the radio, Darren McNamara, that he needs to really pull it out of the bag. Oh, what a big error there. I think that car had a misfire, personally.
Yes, it did sound like it, didn't it? And you can see he's actually just
so he can't see inside the car. Apparently the inside of the car is getting steamed up, as you can see. Look at that, the windscreen steamed up, and his visor and his helmet steamed up as well, and he just cannot see where he's going. Such a shame there for Sultan.
Yeah, there was a lot of potential for that driver in that car. Obviously, if you can't see, that's a little bit vital, so I'm sure he'll have to go and find some little tweaks and fixes to sort that one. Yeah, unfortunately, obviously, make that official a 0. Will 38 be enough to keep him in the top 24?
He's in 23rd place
23rd
at the moment. So we've got a lot of zeros. He's hanging on. We move it along to the next driver on the line. It will be Ross Barr in this Quins M Sport built PS13. And as I mentioned earlier, if you like loud cars, then this will be a delight to you. Because Ross Barr's car is very loud. That's a big aggressive initiation from Barr. He's going to hold on to it, or is he going to go wide? He goes very, very wide. It pushes him into the middle of the circuit, though, as Ross Barr now transitions into outer zone 3. And again, sacrifices outer zone 3 as Barr makes his way out to outer zone 6. And I can barely hear myself think over the sound of Ross Barr's car as he knocks the camera and takes it across the finish line.
Well, he'd definitely get 100 for finesse and flair, I think, but yeah, that's not going to be as good as his first one. There's just a few too many errors in there, I think, to get him any higher.
Well, the scores are going to drop in, and we are going to find out if it can. And no, you're right, Sarah, it doesn't. Yeah, too many errors there. Made a massive mistake in the middle of the circuit and into outer zone 3. So 47 on his second qualifying runs keeps him where he is in 14th position. We move it along. Tom Murphy now sits on the line, a 47 for him on his first qualifying run as well. So he's in the mix, but he's way down the order. And what can the man from Ireland in the Mega Spec PS13 pull out the bag for this run? Normally Tom Murphy is like very hit and miss. He's either very consistent or he's literally spinning going into the wall backwards.
Well, this is going to be pretty interesting then, isn't it? It gets very hot in those cars, despite what the weather's like out here. So the drivers, you quite often see them when they're waiting on the line, just opening the door, letting a bit of the heat out.
I wouldn't mind some heat right now because I am very, very cold at the moment. I wouldn't mind
sitting in one of them right now.
So Tom Murphy comes down, nice initiation, gets the back bumper of that car, 90 degrees to the wall. Can he hold on to it? He certainly can. And he makes it through outer zone 2 as well. And Tom Murphy now looking for outer zone 3 and back onto the wall he goes. As Tom Murphy not doing a bad job. at the moment, comes back into the middle of the circuit, does Tom Murphy, but he sacrifices out of zone 6. The transitions very, very early. Sticks it to the wall and takes it across the line, arm out the window for the stuntman and the showman, and almost smashes his car into the wall in the proceeds of showing off.
Would have still applauded him for that though, to be fair. That was pretty...
Of course
yeah, he's good. He's a good showman. But what are the scores like to reflect that run? 47 in his first. Has he bettered that? The judges are just having a little discussion about this one. Yes, he has done a lot better than his first run. And he's getting a 66.
Yeah, so a 66 there for Tom Murphy on his second qualifying run, puts him into top 5 position. So far, we're moving on to Donatus, 61 on his first qualifying run in this crazy, crazy turbo E30. You see him slot it in gear and go through the chicane. A very tentative run up. It's like he doesn't use all of the gears or all the power to get himself up the line. He knows he's got a lot of torque and power in the engine, so he doesn't need to come flying in. Nice angle dialed on it out of zone 3. Can he hold on to it? He certainly can. It's going to be good for Donatus right now. And he's going to transition now back into the centre of the circuit. The pivot point 6. And nice and deep onto the wall and across the line for Donatus.
I think that was probably sensibly hesitant, that one.
Yeah, very calculated from Donatus there. Look at this, not as good as his first. Judges not liking some parts of that, and a 50 for his second qualifying run, so he stays where he is in 9th position. And we go to this man. He top qualifying earlier and then was quickly taken down by Phil Morrison, but he won't like that. He would have sat in the car and looked and thought, no, there's no way I'm coming to the UK and getting beat by an Englishman. It's on the line since Alan Hines and that Pro Drift Academy 2 JZ powered S14. In the hunt for the Drift Games Extreme Championship, or he's come to the UK to make an upset. Can he upset anybody this weekend, especially Phil Morrison, as he puts the hammer down? Incredible line from Alan Hines as he now fires that car into out zone 3, just tips the cone ever so slightly. He's going to be very close to the wall. Is Alan Hines? He's actually dragging the bumper all the way along the wall, as Alan Hines is going to be looking to top qualifying right now. He's going to be very deep into 6. Look at this from Alan Hines as he goes back onto the wall one more time, takes the back bumper and lights out, makes some noise. Birmingham, what a run for Alan Hines, and let me tell you now, that is going to be way up there.
Yeah, he's got an 88 in his first run. Then Phil Morrison went out and got an 89. Alan Hines has just gone, yeah, watch this. I'm going to better that. Let's see if it has.
Wow, look at this, a 95 from Ben, a 95 from Brad, and a 92 from Ryan, and a 94 overall for Alan Hines. Incredible, incredible stuff. We move it along to the next driver on the line, and that will be Richard Grinrod. He sits on a 0 after a spin. Wheels off on his first qualifying run in this. His girlfriend's Nissan 206 S14A, representing Fibre Factory and Driftworks. Richard Grinrod not doing a bad job so far. I said he's not really gelling with his car, taking a lot of time to get used to it, but looking like he's doing a good job so far in his second qualifying run. He knows he has it all to play for, and this one has to put a run in the bag to get inside top 24 as he transitions back. Grinrod puts the back of that car onto the wall and takes it across the line, and a very conservative run there from Richard Grinrod. So look at that, scores drop in, and a 78 for Richard Grinrod puts him into 5th position at the moment, and Grinrod will be happy with that job done on his part of things. Now on the line, as you can see, the AP brakes hiding behind those work wheels underneath this Toyota Corolla AE86. Thumbs up from the man who was a former British Drift champion, Phil Morrison. Sits on the line, Chevrolet V8 under the bonnet, with a Winters Live axle in the back. This thing almost fully tube chassis. If you get a chance to get down the pits, have a look at it, and the rest of the toys from the stable at Morrison's. Can he top qualify? Big angle thrown at it from Morrison. Can he hold on to it? Yes, he certainly can. Morrison absolutely flying. Incredible stuff from Phil Morrison. He's going to take the cone off the wall. Goes Morrison nice and deep into outer zone 4, and he's also dragging his bumper along the wall 5 now. Big transition back from Morrison. Will set himself up perfectly for outer zone 7 and 8. And look at this, nice and fast. Gets himself onto the wall and takes the Corolla across the line. Makes some noise for Phil Morrison. Scores dropping in. Judges not liking it though. 68 and a 66. And there we go. Score drops in a 66 for Phil Morrison's second qualifying run. So judges not liking that one, being very, very critical on that run.
Absolutely.
We move it along to Lewis Mitchell now on the line. That's Boss kitted S14, the Mitchell Motorsport S14 one. Jay-Z under the bonnet. Lewis Mitchell made a complete hash of the car at Teesside Autodrome, but he's back on fine form on a 65 on his first qualifying run. Well, what can he do on his second? He's 7th at the moment, finds himself inside that top 16 position. Can he hold on to it? A few more drivers left to go yet. As Mitchell comes firing down, you can see a nice initiation, very, very critical there. He's deep. Takes out that first coming point, that first cone, marking off track. So not sure how the judges will deem that one, if it was or not. Depends how he finishes up the run. That's what the judges are saying in the briefing. Take one cone down, but the run is amazing. Might not hurt your score so much. So Mitchell gets it onto the wall, runs over the cone that he put there in the first half of the run and takes it across the line. He'll be happy with that. 2 good runs there in the bag for Lewis Mitchell.
Yeah, it was a good strong one. I don't know how much that first corn hit is going to damage the score, but I guess we will find out in just a minute. See if the judges have penalised him enough for it. Yeah, he's done a little bit less than his first run, but still a decent score that should keep him in the top 24.
So there we go.
Just waiting for Brad's score to drop in.
Brad?
Is he asleep? Yeah,
There we go. So a 53, for Lewis Mitchell, and like you say, Sarah, stays where he is. We move it along. Let the Kerpert bows out of competition. Move it along to this man. Sunoco Racing Fuels on the side, Westlake tyres on the wheels. The Mobile One Link Engine Management Mustang RTR, former car of Vaughan Jr. Then owned by the famous DJ Danny Neville in Dubai. Now owned by, well, the famous drift commentator and promoter David Egan. Dave Egan, so as you can see some of our drivers making their way off and on circuit as we just clear up some debris. Oh, and that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't see that, Toby. I didn't see that, Toby. So Toby, my man in the tower, who's my clerk of course, just pointing out to me that the Hell Performance banners had fell over, and that's not what we want.
It's not. They've blown over in the wind. The tower's getting a little bit wobbly as well now in that wind. I'm not a fan of that.
This is nothing.
Well, it's nothing compared to Driftland.
Yeah, that was wobbly.
We were swaying around up here, weren't we, in the wind?
We certainly were. So the banners get stood back up again, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. With Dave Egan's second qualifying run. He scored a 54 on his first. Dave Egan will be looking to better that score, but struggling with some gearing in that car, not being able to get the car geared correctly to get out to outer zone 2, so he has to sacrifice the line ever so slightly to make it round. Egan gets the thumbs up from everybody in the tower. Start like Marshall Melks. It gives him the all clear, and we are good to go for Dave Egan's second qualifying run of the day. Supercharged Boss 302 engine under the bonnet and a big wobble on initiation. Looks like that car gripped up massively there. As Dave Egan now finds a much better line in the middle of the circuit, fires it into the wall. It sounds like that car's just picked up a misfire. And he's going to struggle to get it round, but he's going to do everything he can in his power. He sacrifices out of zone 5. And Dave Egan gets a nice and tight into outer zone 6. Onto the wall he goes, and across the line for Dave Egan. World scores dropping in and already look like he has improved of where he is in 17th position. Can he climb himself order? Oh, Brad not liking that. Ryan does like it. Where does Ben find himself? He finds himself bang in the middle at 60 for Dave Egan, and he jumps up to 11th position. On his second qualifying run, Ashley Stevens now sits on the line. On 37 on his first qualifying run. And I'm getting rained on somehow. I don't know how that's happening.
Yeah, we are getting rained on somehow.
So Ashley Stevens throws big angle. I think, can he hold on to it? He certainly can, but he's slowed him down massively. And he just gets to outer zone 2. That was a very slow, strange line though. Judges going to have looked at that one and said that it's not where he needed to be. And Ashley Stevens now transitions off the wall into the middle of the circuit. As Ash Stevens gets the back end of the S13 onto the wall and across the line. So scores are dropping in for Ashley Stevens, and he has improved. He sits in 25th position, so he's currently out of top 24, so he needs to climb himself up the order ever so slightly. There we go, only 2 places though, and going to be a tentative wait for Ashley Stevens. We go back to the start line, we do see Ian Biz Phillips a 0 on his first qualifying run when he went over the middle of the circuit there on that teardrop. So he would have known the error of his ways, and he really needs to pull it out of the bag now. Does Ian Biz Phillips. Nice fast initiation there from Phillips. Deep into outer zone 2. This is going to be a fast, snappy transition. Look at it, no mistake this time. Keeps the angle shallow and looks to the wall. Gets into it very, very tight. Almost makes big contact with the wall there. Does Ian Phillips. As he gets into the final outer zones and across the line, he manages to put a score on the board.
That is the Ian Phillips we're used to seeing, isn't it? That first run was just a little bit miscalculated, I think. And he's definitely come back fighting for his second run, so that should give him a decent score. I wonder what position he will put him in. It'll put him in 6th. He's scored 68.
So
he'll be
68,
happy with that.
Yeah, Ian Biz Phillips only 1 run to get it done. Manages to pull it out of the bag and is absolutely hounding with rain now inside the judging tower.
Yeah, it's blowing in now, isn't it?
But we can't complain, we're still in something dry. You guys out there bearing the weather conditions this weekend, we can't thank you enough for coming out and supporting UK Drifting. We move it along to Alistair Sutton, he sits on the line. 59 his first qualifying run, he currently sits in 15th position. He's inside that top 24, sorry. But he would like to make that position a little bit more comfortable. This car almost sounds like it's electric, Sarah.
It sounds very quiet, but I bet it's not in the grand scheme of cars, but compared to some of the guys here today, yeah, pretty quiet car.
So Alistair Sutton gets nice and close to the wall on outer zone 5. As he looks to go nice and deep into outer zone 6, and a quick snappy transition back up onto the wall. As Alistair Sutton shallows up the angle and takes the car across the line. So wait for the score to drop in for Alistair Sutton. Like I say, already sits in 15th position. Can he better? He certainly can. He moves himself up the order ever so slightly into 10th place with a 63. Back on the line, Hayden Cruikshank now eagerly awaits his second qualifying run of the day. The team, Ricky Bobby. Fig Newtons.
Fig Newtons. A couple of people asked me why he's got a sticker on the front, can he not see? I said, he only needs to see out the side, it's fine.
He doesn't need to see where he's going at all. It's not on this straight line run up anyway. So a nice initiation there from Cruikshank. Oh, but he's very deep. He's way over. He's way over, and yeah, he shuts it down and stops drifting and takes our cone with him for a little journey, Sarah.
Yeah, it's just going for a mooch with it. Thanks for that. So Hayden there scoring 53 in his first run. Hopefully that's again enough just to keep him in a good position for the top 24. It's coming up just on the screen. 2019.
So yeah, as you can see, Stefan Stefanov sitting there on the drop zone, Sarah, and Alan Hines sitting the complete other end of the spectrum in first place with that 94-point qualifying run.
This season, that's going to be the highest score we've had. 94, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go, make it official for Cruikshank. That will be a 0. And I can see on the line a man who also has a 0. This guy, Ollie Elmore, representing Hell Motorsport. Look at his eyes. Look at the fear in his eyes. He knows he has one run to get it done. And you can see that look inside the hat, in the helmet. Sorry, you could just see that he's focused, you know, and he's thinking about this. He's thinking to himself, one wrong move, it's weekend over. If I get it right, I could top qualify.
Yeah,
this could go either way right now for Ollie Elmore.
How they feel sat there right now, especially when you've only got one run to do it as well. You know, it's just such a fine line, isn't it? Of completely, you know, out of control, and it's gone and the weekend's over, like you say.
So Ollie Elmore sits on the line while we just sort our cones out after Hayden Cruikshank removed them, and you can see there in the back end Nissan Skyline absolutely battered from the wall runs. And we get the thumbs up all the way around. We are almost ready to send Ollie Elmore in his second qualifying run of the day. As I said, this is on a 0. This has to count right now for Ollie Elmore. Ollie Elmore comes off the line for his second qualifying run of the day. Through the gears and up the start line in that Hell performance in Nissan Skyline R33. Looks like he's going to make it around the first turn this time as Elmore gets nice and deep into outer zone 2. We transition back and you can see him just using the handbrake to slow that car down for outer zone 3. Finds himself on the middle of the circuit though. He's not nice and deep into the walls like we would have seen him. But maybe he's playing a safe game. Maybe he's trying to be tentative here, trying to, you know, just put a score on the board rather than going out and making a mistake and losing it. Oh, but he takes the clipping point down and takes the cone down with a spoiler on the end of the wall and finishes up the run. And yeah, Elmore, that's definitely a score on the board for him. And
yeah, he'll be very pleased with that. He's took the clipping point with him back to the start. All important score 59, which puts him in 17th, which is absolutely vital for Ollie Elmore there.
Yeah, Elmore jumps himself up into the top 24, and now another person with a 0, Julie Robinson.
Our female ambassador.
A female ambassador for the British Drift Championship. Had that weird error as she come down into outer zone 3. Now Robinson sits with a 0, all to do. Representing Fiber Factory there, drifted.com and Drift Her.
Drift Her, I like it. Get involved.
I do believe Belinda Chalice is in the house this weekend, supporting the UK drifting scene. And a big clutch kick there, you can hear Julie Robinson just clutch kick that car. She's going to be very deep. She holds on to it. Oh, she's going to be in the middle of the circuit and she smashes the front. And Julie Robinson just having a whole host of errors this weekend. She's going to try and finish up the run. But if it gets a score, it'll be very, very low. If it gets a score at all.
I've seen Julie drive, and I have seen her a lot stronger than that, so I wonder if the nerves are just getting to her a little bit now. You know, it's all coming down to this important qualifying. Let's see. She is getting a score, but it is low, and it's coming in at a 10.6. Possibly not enough to keep her in the safe zone.
No, certainly isn't. Drops into 29th position, so that is the end of the weekend for Julie Robinson, and unfortunately we move back to the line. Oliver Silcock now sits on the line in this immaculately prepared GBH Motorsport PS13. Ollie Silcock scored a 49 in his first qualifying run, so you know, a little bit of a better score will just climb up the order and make his afternoon a little bit more comfortable. Silcock hangs the spoiler over the edge of the wall there. And doing a very nice job there on that outer zone, a very good line. He now finds himself down and into outer zone 3. Scrubs up some speed, gets onto the wall for 4. Doesn't get as close to the wall as what we'd like to see for 5. Transitions now in the middle of the circuit. And Silcock sacrificing both of those final outer zones to take it across the line. That's going to hurt his score, sir.
It is. I mean, he's got a 49 on there, so that should be enough to keep him in the top 24, but let's see what the judges thought of that one. And see what position it moves him up to. So he's being 21st for now. They were quite impressed with that one, 66, which puts him in 7th place. They were obviously quite pleased with that one.
They certainly were, and yeah, very good job there from Oliver Silcock. Oliver Bolton now sits on the line with a 57. Funk Motorsport sponsored driver, he currently sits in 19th place, so he's going to have to work. He's going to have to battle in that top 24 later on this afternoon to get into the top 16. He's going to want to improve to get himself up the order. As Bolton comes off the line, a nice opposite flick initiation again, just gets a big clutch kick before he gets in. Look at that, really, absolutely pinpoint perfect on that line, and that's a much nicer line into outer zone 2. Nice and deep into 3 as well now as Bolton looks for the wall. Wow, look at that from Bolton. On the wall goes Ollie Bolton as he gets into the outer zone 5 as well. Almost takes the camera with him. This is looking strong for Oliver Bolton right now. Deep into outer zone 6. This is going to go way up the order. If he can hold this together, this is going to go way up. Ollie Bolton puts the back of that S13 on the wall, makes some noise. Birmingham for Oliver Bolton. What a run. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that. I did not expect that from Bolton. I expected it to be a similar run to the last one, and that came out of nowhere. That was very, very good from the young guy. Just big scores dropping in. Where does Bolton end up after that second qualifying run? Look at that, 4th place for Olive Bolton with an 82. Well, who would have thought it? Who would have thought it?
Told you, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and anything can happen right now when it needs to happen for Hugh Saville. He sits with a 0 on the start line, and he desperately needs to get a score. He, a newly crowned pro driver, after Driftland having such a great weekend. 2 podiums in one weekend. Well, that's not bad, is it?
It's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Hopefully he's going to be trying to get the same thing again now.
Well, he certainly needs to right now, but he's going to go very deep again. Just about holds on to it. You can see him shallow up the car to dial the angle off as Hugh Saville now navigates his way into outer zone 3. A lot of use of the handbrake, though, slowing that car down, gets himself nice and close to the wall, and drags the back end of that Toyota Corona along the wall. Does Hugh Saville, as he now starts to tidy up this one, starts to put all the bits and pieces together, and the puzzle slowly coming together as he takes it to the wall and across the line for Hugh Saville.
He will be very, very pleased with that. It's going to get him hopefully a decent score on the board and a place in the top 24. He scored 0 in his first run, so it's all about this one.
Yeah, it certainly is. Look at this.
Dropping in.
Pretty decent score, but he's in 22nd place. It just goes to show you, even a 50 right now is just about good enough to get you a spot inside top 24. We'll move it along. Mike Wharton now sits on the line. He scored a 41 with his first qualifying run. And Wharton comes off the line. Wharton Motorsport, the head honcho at Wharton Motorsport. Big opposite flick for Wharton. He's looking to do good things on this run, but he's going to go very deep indeed. And he takes the cone down. Gets nice and deep into outside zone 2. And completely comes off throttle. You can see him using a lot of handbrake. Slow that car down for outside zone 3. He's nice and close to the wall for 5 and tags the bumper onto the wall as he transitions back in the centre of the circuit. He's looking a lot smarter from Mike Wharton right now. Mike Wharton throws angle at it as he takes it across the line, and he'll be happy with that one, Sarah.
He certainly will do. I mean, to me, that where we were sat, that looked like better than his first run. Looked a little bit stronger, but let's see what the judges think. We have been known to be wrong sometimes.
Most of the time.
I was trying to play it cool.
Oh, and it's a 0, so it's 0. Yeah, a 0.
So he's obviously made too much.
And that's the end of the weekend. Look, 27th position. That is him out of competition. So unfortunately, Mike Wharton doesn't move along. We move it back to the start line. We see Scott Cartledge. He now sits on a 62 after his first qualifying run. Yeah, his daily driver. He takes his car down to the shops just to, turbo V8 PS13.
If I had that, I'd get down to Tesco in it. Definitely.
Where would you put your shopping? It's got a radiator in the boot.
I'll put it on the passenger seat. I'll put a little seat in or a little bucket or something. Just chuck your shopping in there. You don't need to take people with you, do you?
True, this is very much true. Scott's Cartledge off the line. You hit him absolutely hooning. Nice little clutch kick and flick. Whoa, puts big angle at it. And Cartledge hold on to this one. He takes down that first cone. And and problems with the car. as he straightens in the middle of the circuit and has to reinitiate. Oh wow, and a spin that makes it official problems with that car. And not sure what it is, but it just kind of come out of nowhere. It didn't sound unhealthy, it just
seemed to shut down slightly, didn't it?
Yeah, very strange there from Scott Cartledge. So we need to make that one official, because that one will be a 0. So we'll make that one official. It will be a 0 for Cartledge. He sits in 13th place at the moment. So work to be done for the team there. They need to get in the paddock and work out exactly what's going on with that car, and can they make it work?
Hopefully so. I mean, he's in 13th, so he's got a place in the top 24. They need to get their hands on that car and find out what's going on.
So the Giant Killer shows us the cat paw. The man with 9 lives sits on the line, and Matt Walker sits with a 0 as well. So can he use one of his lives to get himself a place inside the top 24, because he is currently out of competition? And look at that on the drop zone, Ricky Lawrence, podium finisher at round 3. Can he
work to do?
He's got work to be done right now. Nice fast initiation from the Cat Killer, but he gets a load of understeer. A load of understeer from the Giant Killer, the Cat Man himself. And Walker does a celebratory donut for you guys, just to Matt Walker. And Matt Walker, we need to make that official. 2 zeros.
2 zeros, unfortunately so. We've seen a lot of promise from him, but sometimes it just doesn't come together on the day.
No, sometimes it doesn't come together on the day. Stefan Stefanov now sits on the line. This guy on the podium flew in the rain. Only a 41 though on the scoreboard for his first qualifying run. So he sits out of competition at the moment in 26th place. 2 spots up, we'll see him inside competition. Can Stefanov make it work right now to get himself inside that top 24 later on this afternoon? He gets the thumbs up and he is ready to leave the line, and Stefanov needs to throw everything and the kitchen sink at this one. Oh, look at that, tags the bumper initiation and removes it. This is looking good for Stefanov right now. Oh, but big mistake in the middle of the circuit. Completely sacrificed outside zone 2 and almost straight lines to outside zone 3. And Stefanov gets into the wall one more time and drags the back end of that S13 along that concrete wall. Flicks it across the middle of the circuit and now looks for the wall one more time. And Stefanov puts car to wall and across the line.
Pretty strong run, really. Apart from that error in the middle, I wonder how much that has affected the judges' scores for Stefan. As we just wait for those to drop in. Not too much, so he's got a 61, which puts him in 15th, so he is safe at the moment.
Yeah, he finds himself way up the order in qualifying, and we move it along to the next driver on the line. It will be Christian Burkhoff's just a 25 on his first qualifying run. Judges not liking what they see, so Burkhoff's look, it was tentative, you know, he sacrificed that outer zones on 3.7 and 8 because he made a mistake on the transition. Can Christian Burkhoff's put in a good run now and get himself inside top 25. As you can see him flick that car back down, takes down outer zone 3, clipping point, gets into the wall, nice and close to the wall goes Christian Burkhoff right now as he puts the foot down in the middle of the circuit. Gets nice and deep into outer zone 6. This is where it all went wrong last time. Can he put it together and make it work? He certainly can, as Burkhoff takes it across the line. So we await the score to drop in there for Christian Burkhoff's. Here it comes. 29th position at the moment. This is going to be a much more better score for Christian Burkhoff, and he jumps into 21st position over 56. So still a nervous wait. Only 2 people sitting out of competition with zeros at the moment. So it all could change in a heartbeat. Flavor Flav Falvey comes off the line. Tomas Falvey in the Stephen Fitzgerald's S15. Falvey outside the top 24 at the moment, in 25th position. And Falvey will be looking to improve on that one as he gets that car perfectly dialed on outer zone 3 now. doesn't take it to the wall, that's going to hurt his score massively on a midline around the teardrop section of the track. Transitions back in the middle. He flicks it onto the wall. So Falvey, and across the finish line goes Tomas Falvey.
So it's a nervous wait for Thomas Falvey's score then. Stephen Fitzgerald's car. Has he done enough to keep himself in the top 24? As we just wait for the judges' scores to drop in for Falvey. And they're about to. I think they're just deliberating a little bit. Some scores dropping in. He's definitely improved on his first run. And he moves up to 13th position with a 63. So he is now safe for now at least.
Sorry Sarah, having a bit of a mare up here today, throwing stuff everywhere. My pen's gone, my bottle of water went about half an hour ago. I've got the thumbs up. No, it's alright, I'll get it toast. Thank you very much for offering you on. So I missed that. I was yep, thumbs up all round, we are ready to rock and roll.
So we have Adam Simmons on the line. He's currently 11th position with a 64 in his first run.
Yeah, Simmons with a nice initiation there, gets that car dialed. Oh, but he's going to go wide, very, very wide, and that's going to be wheels off circuit. For sure, is that a 0? Yeah, the judge is looking at that one already, and I can see him inputting the score into their system. You can see a cone wedged under the back wheel of Adam Simmons' BMW Z4. They're going to red flag this one, so yeah, we make that makes that one a 0, unfortunately, for Adam Simmons, but we need to make it official. It's fine me saying it, Sarah.
Yeah, we can
jump in there and say what I like.
We can say what we like.
We need to make it official. Because it could be a 100-point run.
Well, I've seen stranger things happen, to be fair, drifting. But 64 in his first run, he was in 11th.
Yeah, he's safe. He's safe for top 24 competition.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, Adam Simmons would have just liked to have gone out there and potentially have just bettered the score just to try and make himself a little bit of an easier job later on in the battles. Yeah. So our track marshal there just trying to get that cone out, and you can see look how easy it is to go off track. Completely goes off track. Those cones actually lifted the back wheels off the floor.
I can't believe those cones are actually still intact after this weekend.
Well, they're not really anymore.
They're kind of.
We've gone through a lot of cones this weekend.
Yeah.
So there we go. Scores drop in, and it is a 0. We make it official. So Adam Simmons stays where he is in 11th position, and we move inside the top 4 of the championship. Up first, it will be VT's very own Link Engine Management, Washlu, Oliver Evans. Oliver Evans sits on the line. He's just going to give it. Actually, we've backed him up off the lines because we're fixing our track. So we're going to let him warm his tyres up. He will pull to the line and he'll be given the all clear to go. Look, he's in 20th position at the moment. The top 24 later on. Today with a 59. He's going to want to improve on that, and he's looking for a podium. Can he do it this weekend? Well, he's going to do it for Old Spice. Happy birthday, Old Spice. 60 years old. This weekend, as Oliver Evans fires that car nice and wide. Very good line for Oliver Evans. He gets nice and deep into outside zone 2. Now looks for outside zone 3, you can see him staring down the barrel of it as he gets a nice line, very, very fluid. Into the wall goes Evans. Can he hold on to that qualifying line? Oh, he's going to wash way off outside zone 5. He's upset his line ever so slightly. He's going to get deep into 6 though. Can he claw some points back by getting back onto the wall again? He certainly can. As he gets into 7 and 8 and across the line. Give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So Oliver Evans there doing a pretty good job on that second qualifying run. The score's dropping at a 68, so he jumps way up the order. Does young Oliver Evans into 7th position. That's exactly what he wanted to do. Up next, Martin Wanacott. Now look, we're in the top 3 of the championship. And Martin Wanacott, hunting that championship down, currently sits outside of qualifying with 0. Can he make it all count? Well, he needs to right now. The Pro Drift Academy, a Draper Tool sponsored Devonshire driver, comes in a little less hot this time and a little tentative. As Martin Wanacott navigates his way around a very nice line into outside zone 2. He's going to be very deep. He just tickles the edge of the cone with the back end. He gets into the wall and you can see him just back out of it. as Martin Wonnacott takes the camera off the wall and now starts to come along nice and deep into outside zone 6. This is absolutely flying right now for Martin Wonnacott as he gets back onto the wall again and across the line. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Martin Wonnacott. He had to make it count, Sarah, and he did.
He absolutely did, and that's what we're used to seeing, isn't it? That kind of drive from Martin in the chaser there, and he's coming in with a well-deserved 80, so that is going to put him in 6th position.
So there we go, an 80 for Martin Wonnacott, jumps him way up the order, or outside of qualifying into 6th place. We're moving back to the start line. Ricky Lawrence, he was on the drop zone. I do believe he has been knocked out of top 24, so our top 3 drivers were outside the top 24. Nervous wait for these guys, but now they're on the line and ready to rock and roll. Ricky Lawrence, as I mentioned, with a 43 on his first qualifying run, needs to make this one count. What can he do? He finished on the podium at round 3, and Lawrence right now, very, very tentative entry again. Puts the hammer down though, gets nice and deep into outside zone 2, a big fast transition as he gets into outside zone 3, very fluid. He's going to get nice and close to the wall. From Lawrence, looking very, very tidy as he takes the back end of that PS13 to the wall. He transitions back into the middle of the circuit, and now just one more wall run to go for Ricky Lawrence. And he can find himself way up the order. Look at that arm out the window. He's absolutely over the moon with that. That meant the world to Ricky Lawrence.
The judges are going to drop their scores in for that one. So he got a 43 on his first run, which is putting him currently out of the top 24, and that is coming in a lot higher so far.
Yeah, look at this, a 75 and a 74 at the moment. It's going to put Ricky Lawrence way up the pecking order as the final scores drop in. There we go, 8th position for Ricky Lawrence with a 75, and that's exactly what he was after. Now, this is it, the final driver for our top 24 qualifying here at BDC round 4 in Birmingham is Aramis Vaskelis. Well, the Lithuanian lunatic went a little bit too hard in his first qualifying run. Look what it means to him. He is absolutely dialed, ready to go. A little wave to the camera, and you can see him just feeling that steering wheel, getting himself ready, getting himself hyped up. He sits with a 0. He's out of competition. He needs to do this, and he has only got one shot at it. Can Aramis Vaskelis put himself inside qualifying, or will the championship once again, Sarah, be turned upside down in a heartbeat here in Birmingham? We are waiting to get the thumbs up, and we are good to go. Vaskelis off the line at the final run of the day for qualifying. And Aramis Vaskelis nervously flicks that car to the wall. You can see a big lot of handbrake there as he looks for that wide line. As Vaskelis, very shallow in the middle of the circuit, doesn't get to outer zone 2, and he's going to now use a lot more handbrake to get to outer zone 3. This is very scrappy from the championship leader at the moment as Vaskelis puts a foot down, looks for 5, and he does sacrifice outside zone 5. Once again, puts the hammer to the floor and transitions back into the final wall run as Vaskelis takes the back line out of the car and across the line. Makes some noise for your current championship leader, Aramis Vaskelis. So there we go, a 0 on his first qualifying run. What can he do on the second? Scores are dropping in from our judges. Judges still deliberating this one, still talking about this one.
They are. Aramis is really bringing it there, trying to just get a score on the board and hopefully scrape into the top 24 after his first run. It's just going wrong for him. The judges are just deliberating a few of the points. The score's going to drop in low. I don't think it's enough to get him in a good position.
Oh well, scores dropping in and they're very, very low though. They're not as high as what we thought they would be. And look at this, he's out of competition.
Ow.
He's out of competition. Sarah, what have we seen? Aramis Vaskelis scores a 39. He's out of competition, and what we spoke about yesterday was this championship getting turned on its head, and there we go, upside down. We're going to look at the qualifying results. Taking first place in qualifying is Alan Hines. Phil Morrison follows him. Up next, Willie Hanna, the prime driver. Oliver Bolton takes 4th place in qualifying. Charlie Hume takes 5th place. A round of applause to that young guy. Wonnacott jumps in 6th. Richard Grimrod back in 7th. Ricky Lawrence in 8th. Evans in 9th. 10, Ian Phillips. In 11th place, Ollie Silcock. 12th for Tom Murphy. 13th for Lewis Mitchell. 14th for Adam Simmons. 15th for Alistair Sutton. 16th for Tomas Falvey. 17th for Cartledge. 18th for Donatus. 19th for Stefan Stefanov. 20th for David Egan. 21st place goes to Matt Fountain, another Pro-Am driver. 22nd goes to Josh King. 23rd to Ollie Wilmore. And Christian Burkhoffs rounds off our top 24 qualifiers, with the rest of the pack dropping out and going home. Sarah, that is it. My voice is almost already gone, and it's just top 24 qualifying. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are here in attendance, we're going to bring all of our pro drivers down onto the grid. We welcome you down onto the circuit around the sides of the track to come and visit and have a look around these cars if you haven't already had that opportunity. For me and Sarah, I'm going to go rest my voice and take a little nap. So we'll be back at 10 to 3 today for your top 24 action. Sarah, we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Tarmac Sports.